Hi Scrubs, I hope you're well. So a few of you guys have been in contact with me and telling me that on a couple of servers people have been getting banned in large numbers, just no warning. This has been happening on some quite large servers. I'm not going to specify which ones, but I wanted to talk about this now because Howrse have actually now officially put a post about it, so there's more information. Because everything kind of before that was uncertain. So I'm going to read this post out to you and then I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So, hello everyone. We noticed that on several versions some forms of cheating have been tolerated, though sometimes historically, other times due to information errors or simply because it's easier to let things pass than to tackle a difficult situation. However, in the long run everyone is penalised by this situation. It's unfair, unpractical, and no one really knows where the boundaries are. So we have decided to do a global recap for all the versions to set things straight and make sure that the rules are consistent across all versions of Howrse. We are also planning to do a general cleanup on all versions, thus it's an occasion to give everyone a fair warning about what isn't allowed before we start. That is shown via the list below. So I am aware that different versions had different rules about things, going back a long time ago even. Some servers you were allowed to do things and on other servers you were not, and it's difficult when a game does that in my opinion, because if you're allowed to do something on one server it confuses people as why they can't do it on another. So do I think that it's better that the rules are going to be consistent across all servers? Yes. Am I going to think everybody's going to be happy about it? No, because if I look at it in the long run, you've got big servers, and big servers tend to have more competitive players, more competitive teams, and people want to use things that are going to benefit them, like pretty much like any server. But those things kind of occur more on those servers, so I'm now going to talk about the actual list that they've given us. So, some of these you guys will know already. For example, selling passes to another player. You're not allowed to do that. Buying passes from another player. Not allowed to do that. Farming passes via numerous accounts, therefore multi-accounting. Using the free pass features, collect passes on through extra accounts to transfer them to your ladder. The passes from sending dead horses to heaven. So basically, if you had another account that you were killing off horses on and sending it to your main, that's basically what that is. Paying another player with passes or in-game items to do chores in your stead. So that's like if you had been like, okay, I'll pay you 3 passes a month to hunt horses on my account, that's what that would have been, for example. So bulk sales of old horses against passes, for example selling 10 horses for a single pass or any other similar aspect. The allowances planned in the game are calculated to preserve game balance, they are not transferable to another player. Having more than one account on the same version, so that's just multiple accounting again there. Having a common pivotal account for teams is multiple accounting, so basically there's some people that will create a fake account and they'll use that to transfer goods between the teams, so that's what that is. So transfer and store currencies and among horses among members within a team bypassing game resale rules. Connecting to another player's account outside of the co-management feature, so if you log in with somebody else's password into their account, that's what that is. You should only use the co-management feature for that. So using a script on your account regardless of who activated said script. So yes, you're responsible for choosing co-managers you can trust and who you share your ethics. So therefore, for me this is a bit problematic because you can't always tell when somebody is going to use a script on your account. I'm sure there are people out there who would befriend someone just for the very purposes of getting on their co-management and then using a script on their account and getting that person banned. I wouldn't put that past anybody. There are people who I think would do that, so that's kind of a bit of a risky area. I think that really there should be some way to figure out who's doing it. I don't know about that. That bothers me a bit personally. I can see why they're doing it, because obviously if everybody's to turn around and say, oh, it was my co-manager, I can understand that, but, you know, it makes me a little bit worried in that respect. Like, you know, I mean, obviously some people, you know, you're not gonna have that problem with, but not everybody's gonna know who scripts and who doesn't. Some people are gonna admit to their teammates and some people aren't, so it's like, that's a bit of a toss-up there. I understand why they're doing it, I'm just saying I can see problems there with it. So, selling an account to another player, either for game currency or actual currency, so people that actually sell their game to other people, that's a no-no. So selling black market items, there's a limit. Okay, so just basically selling black market items is basically if you were saying, right, I'll give you this Morpheus arms for 2 passes. That's basically what that is. There's a limit as the number of exchanges and gifts you can do, and it's for a very excellent reason. This includes selling them for passes or real currencies. Both transactions are forbidden. So that's the general list. Now we're going to get to something else that I think a lot of players have never considered before. So, as for tabbing, add-ons, and gaming mouses, link clump, etc., they are not forbidden per se. But should you ever decide to use these methods, do be very careful and stay within reason. If your account seems to be overdoing it, we will consider that you're taking unfair advantage over peers due to automation. It will be equal to scripting. Therefore, starting from the 10th of April 2018, we will proceed with the spring cleaning on all versions. So basically, if you don't know what link clump is, basically link clump was something that I wasn't aware of actually until some of you guys have been messaging me about this whole situation. And it basically, if you have links on a page, like say, I'm just going to go to my horses here for... Basically, link clump is like where you can like highlight a bunch of links like that, and then you just like right click and it'll open all your horses in tabs. And that's basically what that is, and a lot of people were doing that. Like for me personally, I sit here and I go, you know, 1, 2, 3, because I never even thought of using something like that, but I could understand how somebody wouldn't even know that that is now not allowed, because there's people that use these kind of extensions to make their life easier just for like general, you know, just general use, not even necessarily horse. So if you were to go into like Google and get any of those extensions now that automate that process for you, where you wouldn't actually have to go, you know, click them individually, but instead you highlight them and you click them and it opens them, there you've got a problem. Now, I have a gaming mouse, but I use the right and left click because that's basically what I use it for, and the scroll wheel. I don't really know what they mean when they say gaming mouse, because I first sort of feel like that's so ambiguous, you know, I want, like for me personally, I want to know exactly what I shouldn't be doing. Now I know that they can't predict everything that everybody's going to do. That's fair enough, I can understand that, but it's kind of like a gaming mouse. I don't know what part of the gaming mouse is the problem. Do you know? I mean, for me, I use the right and left click, I use the scroll wheel. There's other buttons on it, but I don't know what they do. I know I really shouldn't have a gaming mouse, I think is the answer to that, but it lights up, so that's why I like it. Now, tabbing, you know, at what point is tabbing a problem? Because to be fair, there's been times where I've opened lots of tabs, but I'm doing it like this, where I'm just opening tab, you know, again and again and again. So to me, that's not an automated process, because I'm going through here. Do you know, sometimes there was times where I would have had 100 tabs open, but I would have been clicking these like that. Do you know, I would have been opening them like that. So for me, that's just kind of like, at what point is it not allowed? I feel like that just needs to be said. I mean, maybe there are people out there who are opening 10,000 horses using link clump per day and caring for them that way. That's fair enough, I could understand that, but I don't know what at this point is excessive. You know, that's what's confusing me greatly with this, and it bothers me a bit, because I just don't like not knowing where the rules are. So really, while they have now made a lot of these things that a lot of us used to do, they're now not allowed, and you know that. This is now the grey area, and that bothers me a bit, because it's like, at what point is it okay? At what point is it not? You know, so basically what I'm going to say to you guys is don't use anything automated unless you're willing to take the risk of getting banned out of nowhere. Do I know what part of the mouse is the problem? No. Probably message support and ask them if you have a gaming mouse. Add-ons, I'm going to assume, is anything like link clump or something that automates the process for you. If you have a program or a Google add-on, for example, a Google extension, or if you're using Firefox or whatever, there's something in there that makes something easier for you on Howrse, then it's not allowed. That's basically what I'm understanding from this, because if you think about it, right, they've got VIP, right, subscriptions. So let's just go to subscriptions for this. Anything that's in here that does something automated for you, that's fine, because these things, you're paying to do those things, right? But if you're using something outside that makes your life easier, that to me is what they're calling as, you know, as automation. That's my understanding from reading this. Some of this I think is really ambiguous, and I don't like that. I like to know where it's fine. I can understand in some cases where it's harder to say, you know, these things, to outline them. but, you know, what part of my gaming mouse is the issue? That's what I want to know. Do you know, should I just use a normal mouse for Howrse? I don't have a normal mouse, I just have a gaming one. Because I thought, you know, it's a gaming mouse, it should be for gaming. I don't really play Howrse so much anymore, so it's not really going to bother me personally, because I don't expect at this point, like, that I'm going to get myself into bother. I'm not caring for 1,000 horses per day like I used to, where I'd sit and go through every blooming one. And it was murder, it really, really was. You know, caring for them every single day. I just don't do it anymore. I don't want to bother myself. But for people that still actively play a lot and are taking time, you know, I can understand wanting to try and make your life easier. But basically, my only advice to you guys is if there's anything even... You need to literally be thinking, is there anything that I'm using that's making my life easier that they might have considered me to be cheating now? The only way I could, you know, suggest, well, to check that is to message them and ask, you know, because I don't know, because this is just, like, these things are very clear. That's not. And that's kind of my feelings on it. I'd be really curious to know your guys' thoughts. I've actually been having a read of some of the posts that have already gone up on my own server. And thank you to those that brought this to my attention as well a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to wait until there was something here that I could sort of say, well, there it is in black and white, along with this grey area. I was hoping that wouldn't be there. Anyway, scrubs, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you had a lovely day. Bye!